Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mike and I talk about retirement, Social Security, Medicare, and life abroad as an expat. Today I'm going to cover a really important topic if you're living outside of the United States and collecting Social Security benefits. It's called the Proof of Life Letter from the Social Security Administration. This letter is officially known as the Foreign Enforcement Questionnaire, Form SSA 7162. If you're retired overseas, you absolutely need to understand what this letter is, why you get it, how to respond, and what happens if you ignore it. Now, it used to be that it would come to you in the regular mail, and if you failed to fill it out properly and send it back, your Social Security benefits could be stopped. So let's dive in and go step by step. So what is the SSA Proof of Life Letter? It's a letter that the U.S. government uses as a way of making sure that people who are receiving benefits abroad are still alive, eligible, and properly accounted for. Remember, Social Security doesn't automatically stop when someone passes away. If the SSA doesn't know that someone has died, checks or direct deposits could still keep going out month after month. That's why this system exists, to prevent fraud and overpayment. The official name of the form is the SSA 7162, and it's a report to the United States Social Security Administration by retirees receiving benefits. It's a simple questionnaire, just 1 or 2 pages long that you fill out and return by mail. In plain terms, it's your way of telling the SSA, yes, I'm still alive, I'm still living outside of the United States, and I'm still eligible for benefits. It's a totally different situation if you're a retiree, you've been collecting your Social Security and living in the USA. In that case, you'll never have to deal with the Proof of Life form, and here's why. When a U.S. resident who's been collecting SSA benefits passes away, the local coroner's office notifies the Social Security so that payments can then stop. However, if you're like me living outside of the U.S., foreign countries don't always notify the U.S. Social Security Administration when an expat dies. So not every Social Security beneficiary outside of the U.S. gets this letter, but most do. The SSA generally sends it to retirees who live outside of the U.S. full-time. People receiving Social Security in countries like the Philippines, Thailand, Mexico, and many other countries. Sometimes dependents and survivors also receive their own forms to fill out. If you're a retiree in the Philippines, for example, you'll almost certainly get this letter once a year. Now here's an important detail. The SSA does not send the letter to everyone every single year. They have a rotating schedule, and some people might get it annually, while others might not see it for a couple of years. But when you do get it, it's critical that you respond. But when does the letter usually arrive? The SSA usually mails the Proof of Life letter in May or June of each year. It comes from the Social Security Administration's office in the U.S., and depending on mail service in your country, it may take a few weeks to reach you. The deadline to return it is generally within 60 days. That means if you receive it in June, you should mail it back by August at the latest. If you don't respond in time, the SSA will usually send a second notice, a reminder later in the year, usually around October. And if you still don't respond, your payments will be suspended in February of the following year. That's why I always tell retirees, don't delay, don't procrastinate, fill it out right away and send it back. The form itself is very simple. It usually asks you to confirm a few key things: that you're still alive, your current address, whether you've worked or earned money that might affect your benefits, whether there have been any changes in your marital status, whether you've received any pensions from outside of the U.S. that might impact your Social Security. For most retirees, it's just a matter of checking a few boxes and signing your name. There's no complicated paperwork, no need to attach documents, no notarization required. The biggest mistake people make is ignoring it because it looks unimportant. But trust me, this little piece of paper has a big impact. So how do you return the form? Well, here's where it can get tricky. The SSA has always required that this form be returned by physical mail. You still can't email it, fax it, or upload it online. That means if you're living in the Philippines, Thailand, Mexico, or anywhere else abroad, you've always needed to send it through your local postal system or use an international courier service if you want extra reliability. But there are some recent changes. I came across this video from the YouTube channel Dr. Ed Weir, PhD, former Social Security manager. I screenshotted his video. Check this out.
We have some expats, those people that receiving Social Security and are living overseas. We got some very, very good news for you. This has been the bane of your existence for many, many years, I'm sure. So we're going to talk about that, and that is those forms, the proof of life forms. Social Security, if you're living overseas, obviously if you're living in the United States and you shuffle off your mortal coil and kick the bucket, whatever you want to use, then the funeral homes, the coroner's office in your particular state notifies Social Security, and Social Security notifies the Department of Treasury, and they take out that, they don't send you that last check. And if they sent you that last check, then they take it out of your bank account. But if you live overseas, there is no deals that the United States has with all those hundreds of countries out there for the coroners, funeral homes, and all the rest of it. So how does Social Security make sure you're still out there? Is they send you those forms. There's a couple of them. One, if you are taking care of your own benefits, and then there's another one if someone is a caregiver that's your representative payee. And up until now, what people have had to do is they had to wait for the mail, and hopefully the letter got to them in time, and they filled it out. So hopefully they filled it out correctly, and then they returned it, and then they had to hope it got back to the Office of International Operations in Pennsylvania, or wherever they send it, and hopefully their benefits don't stop. Because if Social Security doesn't get that letter, then their benefits stop automatically. Actually, they give you another chance and they sent out another one, but if it didn't work the first time, it usually doesn't work the second time. But all of that is ending now, and this is brand new news, and I'm going to show you the policy, and let's keep an eye on this. So I've got the comments of this video, let's monitor this. So this is a brand new policy. It's called the signature proxy. Social Security calls it attestation. I've done this a few million times. Basically, some Social Security forms, you can, rather than just a wet signature, as Social Security calls it, a pen signature, they can attest. You can attest. They can take an attestation, and they'll ask you, says, do you understand the penalty and perjury, yada, yada, yada. If you answer yes, 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 then that's like a wet signature. So that's what they're expanding out to, the 7162 and the 7161. So congratulations. Now you don't have to deal with this. But we want to make sure this is a brand new policy. It just came out August 27th, 2025. Brand new emergency message there. So 7162, 7161, and they talk about the background. The Social Security has been using this since 2004, the attestation rather than the pen signature, and they've used it for a whole bunch of different forms, and now they're expanding it to these particular forms. Okay, so Here's the whole process is that if you get one of those forms and you don't want to trust, sending it back through snail mail, then you can call. And it says, who do you call? Who do you call? You can call your the federal benefits unit in your particular area, wherever your federal benefits unit is in your particular area, or you can call one of the Social Security offices back home, or the 800 number back home. And it says that any Social Security, it says employees authorized to use alternative signature forms, all Social Security employees in U.S. Social Security offices who take and input initial claims and post-entitlement changes. That is pretty much every single employee that works in the 1,200 offices throughout the country. They all do input.
So if you received the proof of life letter, you can now simply make a phone call to prove that your heart is still beating. Well, that's all for today. Thanks for watching and supporting this channel. If you found this information helpful, feel free to like, subscribe, and share. Also, remember to click or tap the bell notification, because it'll make it easier for you to catch future videos. God bless and peace out.